Hello, I'm Dave White for Indie Christian Media, and my guest today is Zach Francis. He is author of Grace Beyond Humanity.
I mean, I belong in prison, don't I? That's what Mom thinks. That's what Naomi thinks. That's what everybody thinks.
People don't go to prison for 19 years for a DUI. They go to prison for things like murder, armed robbery, drug dealing. Most of my clients, they spend 5 to 20 in prison, and the first thing they do when they get out is commit another crime.
The story centers around a guy named David, and he has spent 19 years in prison. And he comes out and he feels like he was mistreated. He feels like the justice system gave him a raw deal. But he still wants to put his life back together. So he comes back to the town of Oak Hill, West Virginia. But because he doesn't realize he did anything wrong, he ends up hurting everybody around him.
But what if David has changed? What about Paul? He tortured, he murdered, he prosecuted Christians. What about that girl up the street who got her life turned around after finding Jesus?
You know what? I thought you were praying and reading your Bible, but I was obviously wrong.
He hasn't admitted to being an alcoholic.
But he's admitted to drinking.
He won't even read the classifieds I gave him.
He's taking responsibility for his actions.
You know, the other day I asked him how counseling is going. He didn't want to talk about it. All he wants to do is read the Bible.
And that's not a change?
What we're dealing with when we're talking about grace in this context is this idea of total forgiveness. And what exactly does forgiveness mean? Throughout this process of researching this play, the idea came up, how do we forgive somebody that hurt us? Christ calls us to forgive our enemies. But who really is our enemy? Is it somebody that's clear across the ocean? Or is it our next door neighbor that called the health department on us? Or our coworker that stole a project? Are those our enemies? And if they are, how do we forgive them? Does that mean we trust them again?
Aunt Ruby said that we were going to play a game. She was going to be Jesus and I was going to be me. Aunt Ruby, I mean Jesus, went and got a colored Easter egg and said clean it.
Okay, well, what does that have to do with writing a letter?
I don't know, but that's what she said. Clean the Easter egg.
Clean it?
Clean the egg, that's what she said. Go ahead, Mom, clean the egg.
Okay, are we playing the game now? Okay, well, I'm going to have to see what we have.
No, sit down and clean the egg from where you're sitting.
I can't do that.
That's what I said. You know what she said? She said to give the egg to me. Aunt Ruby says that we can't keep holding on to the dirty eggs that people give us or else we'll always be sad.
So, I suppose if I give my dirty egg to Jesus, then I'll be happy again? Is that it?
You got it, dude.
There might be people watching this interview who haven't been to church in years. Is this a play that they should go see?
One of the things, and this is me talking here, that I feel like is missing in a lot of Christian theater is I feel like it really doesn't reach out to non-believers. Doesn't talk about the topics they deal with. A lot of the theater that I seem to see in a lot of Christian churches, they talk about the typical messages. You have the play where Jesus is hanging on the cross, but they don't ask the question, well, what does that really mean to me? A lot of the media, they show movies about, death and destruction, but how does God see those things? How does God see somebody who's a prostitute? How does God see somebody that committed murder? I think those are the kind of issues that people that don't go to church would be interested in seeing.
Zach, thanks for sharing with us about Grace Beyond Humanity. If people want to get information about Grace Beyond Humanity, Zach, what can they do? Is there a website, a phone number?
Well, they can Google search the website, Grace Beyond Humanity, and there is a link there. Or even easier than that, they can call my wife, Susanna Francis, at area code 317-670-8008.
Zach, thanks for sharing with us about Grace Beyond Humanity. We have a phone number, 317-670-8008.